What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new show on the StayWeighedIn podcast. It's called On the Scales. And to kick off to the first episode, we are previewing a big fight over the weekend featuring Joshua Buatsi and Craig Richards. I'm joined by my special co-host himself, Sugar Ray. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Midweek, let's keep on trucking forward. So we're getting there. Yourself?
I'm doing good, bro. Similar to you, before off air, we were yawning, we're a bit tired, but we're up. And
getting through it.
And obviously, new show. We got to bring out the big guns as always. Starting from my bottom left, Big Nige from WhenFistflys. How are you, man?
I'm good, my bro. I'm good. It's always been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be on the E-Man show still. So looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it.
And the legend himself making a return as always. Might be a bit quiet sometimes, but when he comes, he brings the heat. Ashanti, how are you, man?
I'm very well, very well. As Nigel said, it's always a privilege and a pleasure to be on here with you guys. Really looking forward to it.
And a special shout out before we get into the big debate. We're going to have a lot more guests coming in, but if you guys are following us on our socials right now, we are live. So we want to get your interactions in there. So hit up all the comments, same with the YouTube page. StayWeighedIn. Let us know your reactions to what the guys say and also the fight itself. But guys, we're here. Let's go straight into it. And Ashanti, I'm going to come to you first. Okay. Got the big fight, Joshua Buatsi, Craig Richards. I want to know your take on this fight. Is this a fight, I guess, what Buatsi needs to get pushed to the next level, considering some people say that he's kind of been hidden in the background? And do you think this would be a fight that can cement him as one of the A plus guys or A guys in the light heavyweight division?
I think it does, but I don't know if it pushes him right to the top, because outside of boxing, I'm not sure how well known Craig Richards is, but he's a really good fighter. I'm not saying that. I just think the kind of prevailing opinion isn't necessarily that Craig has pushed through. How many people know Bige outside of like boxing fans? Let's be honest, but. Yeah, I think it's going to be a cracking fight. I'm going to start by giving a bit of credit to Eddie Hearn. I think if you look, it looks like Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. are going to have that big unification clash. And Bivol obviously tied up with Canelo because they've got a mandatory rematch clause if he wants to take it. But all four belts are out of action. So this is the best marking time fight, I think. You could really have maybe Yard, but when you consider it's like Crystal Palace, Croydon, similar ages, kind of where they are in their careers, I'll give it to Eddie Hearn for putting this on DAZN. I think it's an incredible fight. Craig's come up the hard way, on the small hall shows, not being the biggest name, but then you've got the flip side. You've got JB, who's had all the pomp and circumstance because of what he did at the Olympics. I just think it's going to be a cracking fight, and there won't be a backward step taken. And all I can say is I wish I were there, because the crowd is. I was at a fight in Crystal Palace a few months ago with Isaac Chamberlain. And that crowd was incredible. And there were only 1,500 people, let's say, max. There's going to be a lot more people than that at the A2. There's going to be a lot of boys and girls from South London. And I think the atmosphere is going to be absolutely incredible. And I think the fight will live up to it. Undercard, fine. But really, that main event is what it's all about.
And I want to touch on something Ashanti said. And that was Craig Richards is upcoming in terms of doing the hard yards and stuff. And I'm going to go to you, Big Nige, on this. He alluded to it on the face of himself. He said that, Buatsi, you've kind of been fast-tracked into it because of the Olympics, whereas I've come through the hard yards and stuff. And I want to say, is that a fair critique of Buatsi to say that he's been pushed into the limelight because of the Olympics? So has he paid his dues currently as well?
I mean, it's funny that you say that, because I watched the face-to-face today just to get like a little background. And it's true what Buatsi said. It's just like, he wasn't handed to go to the Olympics. He wasn't handed a bronze medal. He's paid his dues. He may not have done the hard graft in the pro scene, but what he's done in the amateur scene compared to Craig Richards, I think it's right for him to be put on, not on a pedestal, but to be given like some form of a foundation to feed off. Because let's be honest, he wouldn't have needed to go through the small hall shows because he'd won a bronze medal. Do you know what I mean? So the platform he's been given, it's now up to him to take that opportunity and make it into a realistic situation. So I understand what Craig coming from, but again, Buatsi, it wasn't given to him like to go on the Olympic squad, to go to the Olympics, to win a bronze. He's grafted to be there. So, you know what I mean?
for you, Ray, when it comes to this for Craig Richards, I mean, him fighting against Bivol and considering what's happened recently with Bivol and Canelo and stuff, I guess my point is he coming into this fight feeling a bit disrespected, knowing that if you look at it from the quote-unquote favourite side of things, or the betting favourite, it should be a clear victory for Buatsi in this. So does he have a bit of an argument to say that he's feeling disrespected in this particular fight?
Listen, man, I think it might have been a year ago when I was telling everyone about how Craig Richards is going to make this come up. And Ashanti's smirking right there because he remembers. And I was telling everyone Craig Richards may have not got the victory, but he proved a lot of people wrong, and he proved me right the way I was backing him. And I remember saying last year, watch out for Craig Richards against Bivol. And a lot of people are saying, yo, Craig Richards is going to get smoked. And then Ashanti was especially getting on to me saying, I don't understand why you think Craig Richards has business being in there with Bivol. But we'll let that one go for now. But I think for now, this is, you can maybe call it Craig Richards coming out party. This is the fight that he's saying, listen, you can't keep on ignoring me. This is going to be where I show everyone who I am. And I think what a time to do it. And with his technical abilities, fight IQ, if he starts this fight believing in himself, like he did in the latter rounds against Bivol, JB's in for a dangerous fight. So I think the politics of boxing favors Buatsi, but in terms of like mental warfare, I think it does slightly favor Richards. And then seeing that face-off as well, I remember watching it, and you can tell that Craig Richards kind of got under JB's skin a bit with that, oh, you can't say what you want comment. Because although JB was saying, oh, we're just going to box anyway, he still wouldn't answer his question directly. So I don't know. It's nothing massive. It's not like we're going to say he's the mastermind games guy, but I think every little inch counts. And I feel like Craig Richards might have a bit of a mental edge going into this. And especially seeing how, you know, Bivol put on quite a show, and knowing that Craig Richards never got like dominated that way, I probably think he's coming into this fight thinking, all right, I belong here. It's time to show people I'm the real deal. So we'll see.
Just before Ashanti, I let you rebuttal, I just want to say with the comments as well, shout out to the guys at Off the Canvas Boxing saying, evening gents, and what a face-off, very entertaining. Ash as well, our producer and editor, does all these graphics saying, let's go. You can see the hype is growing. So on Ibrahim's point about the face-off being entertaining, I want your opinion on that as well. But also I want you to rebuttal to what Ray just said as well. Like, what's your opinions on what he said?
No, I just wanted to, you know, Ray maybe not bring up the past so much because, you know, I might be seeing Craig Richards in the next couple of days. So I don't know if I need that kind of struggle or problem in my life. So Ray, let's not just dredge up the past.
No comment. It's a different Ashanti.
Yeah, exactly.
The beard's gone.
There's nothing out there. I'm going to have to cut my hair again just in case. But all jokes aside, like, yeah, Craig deserves this. And I think having a look earlier about his career, I think he came up a division to fight Frank Buglioni, the British champion, on a week's notice and didn't get, you know, put in a great performance. The guy, yeah, he's got heart of a lion, so you can't take it away. And then he just looks better and better with the Bivol fight. I won't lie and pretend I've looked at the scores again, but he might have lost by 2 rounds less than Canelo did to Bivol. He didn't get knocked out, did he? So, you know, I think he won a couple of rounds late on, and, you know, you could tell first couple of rounds he really didn't believe in himself. So you've got an argument to say if he did believe in himself, knowing the performance he'd put in, that he could have, you know, nicked 5-6 rounds potentially. So yeah. Canelo didn't get that. We know he did on the scorecards, but anyone who watched it, we all know what time it was. So yeah, like you've got to say Richards is fully in the fight and might not have the amateur credentials and the big name, but look at his resume, look at his CV. Like I was again looking earlier, you know, JB's ranked 2, 3, 4, and 6 in the world rankings. How? Like, I love him as a fighter. Like, think he's got everything: eloquent, polite, nice guy, killer in the ring. Virgil's an amazing trainer. But who's he beaten to be ranked 2 in the world in any, like? Come on, like, we can't. It reminds me a bit of this Floyd thing of, oh, if you're not beaten, then you're amazing. Because I think Craig's got a better resume than him, and that's just without bias. Like, I'm not here trying to negate either achievements. I'm just looking on paper. I'd have to say I think Craig's done more, but Craig's only got 7 in the WBA and 14 in the WBC. Don't really understand. So yeah,
it's
Criminal.
interesting.
What? Oh, so go on, Abbas.
No. You go ahead, Rick, because I'll go on.
I was gonna say, me and Ashanti and JD as well. Shout out JD Dyer. We've had this discussion before about who are the top UK like heavyweights. I've been saying for a while it's been Craig Richards. They've been telling me it's JB. We're now at the point where it's like, for me, this determines the number 1 UK like heavyweight. A lot of people might throw Yardim there. A lot of people might throw Callum Johnson, which I'm still a bit on the fence about that one.
I'm on it.
But it'll be interesting, especially I know that Anthony Yard's got his, well, he should be mandatory to the winner of Joe Smith versus Arthur Beterbiev. So it'll be interesting. But for now, I do believe that the winner of this fight is the number 1 UK like heavyweight, and that can't be disputed.
So what I wanted to touch on was actually this particular poster, and I'm going to go to you, Big Nige, on it. We see the A side there being Buatsi versus Richards, and not the other way around. On Ashanti's point, the fact that we have the fact that he's not beaten anybody compared to Richards himself. Is it fair that he's the A side in this, or should it be a case of maybe we could look at Richards being the A side?
I mean, it depends how you look at it. Like the reason why JB is considered the A side. In terms of profile, JB is the bigger crop. If you get what I'm saying. So that's the only reason why they put JB first and Richards second. That's the only way I look at it. But in terms of ability, there's not much difference between the two. Resumes are 2 different things. I agree with what Ashanti said. But in terms of profile, like based on what I said, in terms of amateur background, Olympic bronze medalist, it's a no-brainer, innit? That's the only reason I can see it.
So on Ibrahim's point as well, shout out to Ibrahim in the comments as well. Ray, is it the financial pull that makes Buatsi the A side?
Of course, commercial reasons. This is still the boxing business, and the business side of thing is JB, no pun intended for just business. It's the bigger guy. He's the Olympian, 258 management as well, the association with AJ. And don't get me wrong, when he's on, he's on. He's been a very spiteful finisher in the past. Obviously, they helped build his profile through Matchroom's prior partnership with Sky Sports as well. So his face has been out there. And I think for JB right now, this is the fight where it's kind of like, you've been a potential guy for a long time. Now's the time for you to step into that and say, no, you're talented, not just potential. And I think this is a good litmus test for JB, because it is that big thing of, okay, are you who we've been told you was all that while ago? Are you this guy that when the Olympics happened and we said that's going to be one of the guys to, do big things in the future, will you be that guy? Because here's the thing we've got to take into consideration as well. Look at where Lawrence Okoli is and look at where JB is. And a lot of people might argue that, we was expecting JB and Lawrence Okoli to go at similar pace, but now Lawrence Okoli has already got a world title and a couple of defenses in the bag. So I think now is like now or never for JB. Like, yeah, you've been potential. It's kind of like, remember when Arsenal signed Walcott, and then for years they kept on saying Walcott's going to be good potential, and then like he turned 28 and it was still like, right, he's still going to be good potential. And it's like, you've been potential for over 10 years. You can't be the guy that's good potential. You have to be the guy that's, we know you're talented and are certified and stamped of approval. So I think this is going to be the big fight for it, and Craig Richards is going to be a tough task.
So this is the point that I want to go to you, Ashanti. Then we're putting the, I guess, quote unquote pressure on Buatsi. Let's say he was to lose this. I guess then my point is, with all the rankings you mentioned, surely that with the drop in this, where would that leave someone like Buatsi? Because you've got a resume that's possibly not as stronger compared to Richards. Then you go to lose to him. Where would that leave him? Because would it be, I guess, looking from the point of view of similar to when Amir Khan lost to Bradus Prescott, where you said this was you were on pay-per-view and you lost and then you built up. Could you see Buatsi doing something like that? or would he then have to work his way back up?
No, absolutely not. It's a good question, but there's no comparison between the Amir Khan and Bradis Prescott fight. Amir Khan was like the big thing. No one had heard of Bradis Prescott. I will reiterate again, Craig Richards is a live dog. He's a serious fighter. If he loses to him, he lost at I would say this is fringe world level. I think it's way above. I think this is legit. Again, the Bivol fight, Bilioni on a week's notice. Didn't he? Am I right in thinking he went to Shakan Pitts' back garden his channel and knocked him out? Shakan Pitts is a good fighter, so absolutely not. And all of the things we've just spoken about, and I'm not trying to bring smoke to Spider, but all I will say is, when we're talking about name should be first and business decisions, does anyone here genuinely believe that Craig Richards could go to Virgil Hunter? I think that tells you the esteem that JB is held in, and where he is in the world. No, there's plenty of fights. I've got them written down. The Yard fight is still there no matter what, because Yard is just they are doing two different things. Yard is doing the let's sit out and keep myself fit and fight European guys until I get my big unification, make millions, and hopefully win. And JB is fighting a really good fighter. So they're doing two things whilst they're, as I said, marking time. The Bivol fight's still there. The winner or loser of Joe Smith Jr. and Beterbiev, maybe that's a fight that could be made because, JB fights out or has an American trainer. You could see him kind of being able to leverage that. And finally, the Callum Smith fights. They're all fights that are still there, winner and loser. Actually, I think more if JB loses, he's more likely to, because he just generates money. Let's be honest, as we've all the 258, the AJ, I think he might have a Nike deal. He's got deals in his back pocket. Callum Smith and JB, even if he loses, as long as he doesn't get wiped out in 3 rounds, that sells out the Echo. What is it? The M&S Arena in Liverpool. It sells out the O2. It can be on an AJ. He can always be on an AJ undercard, and you're always getting paid to be on an AJ undercard. So.
That Callum Smith fight is a good shot. I did not think about that. They've got that one in the tuck for whoever loses. I think that's a good fight for either of them.
I want to see JB versus Yard in the next 5 years, as in they could both lose 4 fights between then and now. It's still going to be a rivalry. East London, South London, Yard's an amazing. I know we're not talking about that fight, so I won't talk for too long.
No, it's good to bring up though. I think the good thing is with the UK light heavyweight scene right now and all these good guys, I think Dan Aziz has been a big proponent of saying, listen, with all the belts tied up, let all the good UK light heavyweight fight each other and lose this culture of, if you get a loss, you're down the drain. And I'm glad that, when I liked Lyndon Arthur, but when Yard avenged that loss, I think it was a good showing to people that stop relegating these guys off of one loss, especially one loss to a high level guy. Like this culture in boxing sometimes is crazy, and I think that's one. Obviously, I'm a MMA guy first, and what I like about MMA a lot of the time is you can take a loss, and people are just going to be like, "All right, cool, you took a loss, come right back." And I feel like with boxing sometimes it's a case of take a loss and you're the worst thing ever. It's like when Canelo lost to Bivol, and it's just like, do you guys realize that this is a extremely talented fighter that he's lost to at a higher weight class? And then people I knew he was overrated and this, that, and the third. And I feel like what this fight can potentially do is also break down that barrier of people caring too much about the whole being undefeated or, 1 or 2 losses makes you washed. And I feel like if we can carry on, credit to Eddie Hearn, getting these good UK light heavyweight guys to face each other, you never know. You can maybe even do like a potential Super 6 in the future of like UK light heavyweight guys. And for me, it can still be lucrative.
Couldn't agree anymore, Ray. The other 2 fighters and fights I'll bring up. The fight last week, Denzel Bentley and Linus Udofia. Linus Udofia is not a bad fighter because he lost a tight decision to Denzel Bentley. He's still a cracking fighter. I think he will be a British champion. I know we can get draws in boxing, but the reality is there's always a winner and a loser. Like it's a bit like an FA Cup final. Like that's how it works largely. I know draws, whatever. And the other one, I'm not his biggest fan. Liam Smith and Anthony Fowler. Anthony Fowler's not a terrible fighter because he lost to Liam Smith. He just lost to a really good fighter on the night and will come back. Josh Buatsi, Craig Richards. I've been around boxing and boxing promoters. I'm sure that's exactly what the deal has been in the background is whichever one of you loses, here's the roadmap for the next 2 to 3 fights. We'll get you maybe a run out, and then you'll get one of the guys maybe listed, Lyndon Arthur, Ben Whittaker in a year and a half. Like that, it's just.
Whoa! How did Ben Whittaker get into this?
He just looking.
I don't know, because we do you know what? We'll come back to in the future, because I like Ben Whittaker and I like the energy, but the way he called out Dan Aziz and some of the other light heavyweights, I was just like,
he needs to chill with that one still.
Yeah. But
you will get slumped with that one by Dan Aziz. In 5 fights, he's mad.
5. I was just like, I like the confidence, but there's let's settle down.
So I want to get our guest predictions quickly before, obviously, we've got more people still coming on as well. So, Big Nige, first quickly go to you. Where do you see this fight panning out, and who do you have as winning it?
I'm going Buatsi stoppage. I'm going 8 or 9 rounds still.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. I reckon we'll get a thriller. We'll get a few 50-50s, and then I think the pressure. I think Buatsi will continue to apply that pressure, and like you man said, when he's got a man hurt, he's vicious.
Yeah, very spiteful finisher.
So if he can just avoid that jab and just try and get in, we all know he's going to get clipped. It's just part of the way he fights, innit? But yeah, I'm going Buatsi 8 or 9.
And Ashanti, what about you? I know obviously you've got to also leave soon as well, so I just want to get your views. Where similar with Nige, or are we going to change it up?
Similar-ish, but I've got to disagree slightly with Nigel. I think it's the same winner, but I think it's more of a majority, maybe 7-5 kind of fight. Because what I would say is I didn't see him getting hurt by Bivol, but I do agree. I think it could become a firefight, and that's when it's anyone can win. Anyone can get hit time, but I would imagine it'll be unanimous decision, majority decision for JB. I've got to roll with Kenny in the mailroom and all those guys. So I'm just looking forward to the fight. As you can probably tell, it's going to be fantastic.
Cool. So Ashanti, I know obviously you've got to head off, but as just beforehand, obviously we know you're a busy man, so we appreciate you
Thank you for coming by,
coming on, dropping your views and stuff. Big Nige, you good to hang around a bit longer?
Yeah, I'm gonna head off as well. I've got to sort out a few things.
Yeah,
no problem.
All good.
Always a pleasure to come on, you man.
Thank you. We'll be welcoming back, and me and Ash even me and Ashanti need to speak more about Fury, because it's been a very long while. So Mr. Retirement himself that won't give out his belt, but we'll speak. That's for another time. The
last thing I want to say is there's a few people in boxing that might not be traveling abroad, should we say? So, but there's a few people that are on certain lists that mean that they won't be traveling on any kind of US airline in the future. So, fill themselves out, really settle in, enjoy Harrogate, Stockport, Norwich. The many beautiful coastlines, Plymouth, that England has. Because, a few guys that might be watching them if they try and enter certain other countries.
Very out of pocket.
Nothing else shall be said, but guys, thank you ever so much.
Love as always.
Before you guys go, I just want to know, where can we get your socials?
Nigel.
Big Nige 3 on Instagram, and obviously my boxing YouTube channel, WhenFistfly on Instagram. Yeah, well, WhenFistfly on Instagram and WhenFistfly on Twitter as well. Thank you.
And Ashanti?
I need to get back on Instagram. I'm Ashanti.
He said, don't try to find me for now.
I'm Ashanti _George Foray. I'm about to get back on. I've got to represent my clients and the business and stuff like that. But yeah, you'll see some interesting content hopefully. But as always, guys, thank you so much. And yeah, look forward to speaking after the fight. And I might be on a flight, but certain guys won't be, so don't worry.
Appreciate it always, guys.
Oh my lord! Wow. Well, waiting to sign off.
Whilst we've got everything loaded up in the background, there we are going to get 2 more guests. Just like that, it's like magic.
Smooth. You see that?
Come on, you see that?
Stars in their eyes.
Let's go straight into the introductions. Bottom left, Ibrahim Off the Canvas Boxing. How you doing, man?
I'm good, guys. How are you lot?
Well, good, man.
Doing all right, thank you.
happy to have you on here. Look, producer Andy's in the chat. He's saying you're already boxing royalty. So how do you feel about that?
Nah, thank you very much, guys. No, honestly, I'm just doing my thing. I wouldn't say royalty, but yeah, I'm just doing my thing. You know,
the infamous.
But yeah, I appreciate it. Listen, yo, infamous is a way of saying it. And after this week, it could be either great or I could be one of the most hunted men in boxing media, wherever it was. Like, people will be at my neck, a bounty will be on my head. It's gonna be peak out here. But I can't wait. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem.
Thank you for coming.
We've got to get a friend of the show. Me and you, we chatted up on multiple different pods as well. Co-founder Undiluted Media. Sam, how are you, man?
I'm good, thanks, brother, man. How are you, man? I hope you're all good, man.
Oh, bless.
Nice artwork in the background. I see it. Jeez.
I'm just at work, innit? So I thought,
come on.
Story, did it? Do you know what
I like.
Quickly, who's got the better backdrop here? You know, like
I was just like, raw with the art, you know. And then OTC with the two images next to him. He got the iceberg and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. I think it's Ibrahim we have to go for, man. We got the iconic Muhammad Ali and the iceberg thing. We know what the words say underneath that, so we'll go for that for now, man. Next time it might be a basket at the back. Who knows?
We'll go for it.
Let's go straight into it. Just wait. Shout out producer Andy. He goes, the artwork's on point as well. So you know we got to respect the artwork. But I'm gonna go to you, Ibrahim, on this. Obviously, you was watching us, and we appreciate that as well. But I want to get your views on this fight as well. We've talked about the A side versus the B side. We've talked about where this fight ranks for each guys and what it potentially produces for each guys. What's your opinion on this as well? For you, going into this fight, who has the most pressure?
Oh, Joshua Buatsi. Joshua Buatsi has the largest pressure. To be fair, out of all of the light heavyweights in the UK, he was the one who went to the Olympic. He's the one who signed with 258. He's the one who's been on Sky Sports with Eddie Hearn. He is the one, in my opinion, that has been pushed the furthest and marketed the most. Some people may say Anthony Yard, but really and truly, based on boxing pedigree, it's Joshua Buatsi. That's what people
agreed.
Been putting on a pedestal, you know, or since he turned pro. He has the most pressure because of his resume. Callum Johnson, Callum Smith, who else? You've got Anthony Yard, Craig Richards have all competed at that very elite level, whether that be at light heavyweight or with Callum Smith at super middleweight, apart from Joshua Buatsi. So out of everything, and he is the person that, you know, if you have to give a prediction when they turn pro, who was going to go the furthest, it would have been Joshua Buatsi. So, and he's got I would say, the weakest resume in terms of who he's competed against. So he has the biggest pressure because it's
true. This caught me off guard, but yeah, go on.
So
yeah, so for me, he's got the biggest pressure because if he loses this fight, it's going to be a big loss because Craig Richards lost to Bivol, Anthony Yard lost to
Lyndon Arthur,
Kovalev. It was
the guy back then.
Lyndon Arthur one, you could justify it to an extent. Yeah, you could justify it. In this fight, there's no real justification. It's not locked down. The circumstances around it, around the venue, etc., you can't use that as an excuse. Whoever loses, particularly if it's Joshua Buatsi, it's going to be a harder loss to stomach than all of his UK compadres. So definitely for me, it's Joshua Buatsi with the most pressure in this fight.
Okay, I'm going to go to you, Sam, on this then. With having the most pressure on this fight, if he wins this fight, do we look at Buatsi as the number one guy in terms of British light heavyweight boxing right now, or is there arguments for other guys even though he wins this particular fight?
That's a difficult one because you probably would say yes, but then you're looking at there's still other people in the UK that he could fight, which would put him on that pedestal and say, do you know what? Okay, he's beating these guys. He's the best guy. But I just think for now, it's just something. It's something they could just put in his resume. Say I beat Craig Richards and move. It's not nothing to celebrate. Yes, it's okay. South London, Croydon, Crystal Palace, bragging rights. I don't think it's any. I don't think it's anything special you can kind of boast about that you beat Craig Richards. Like I rate Craig Richards, but I don't put him on that level that okay, if you beat him, okay, cool, you're at this level. So I think
you don't think.
Nah,
even after the Bibble fight.
No, because the name and like I think if we look at JB Buatsi stylistically and his pedigree, this should be an easy fight for him. What everyone expects from and of him. Because the way I put Joshua Buatsi on the level that, do you know what? If he's fit, he's got enough time to practice, there's no injuries, he's a problem, in it. But we've seen him have a stop-start career. That's why we keep on going back to his resume, and that's certain reasons why he's been injured. It's like, okay, cool, he get 8 rounder here, get a 10 rounder here, just to get him back. But if you look at what he can actually do, and you give him that long time, the training camp, etc., no injuries, he's a problem for a lot of people. So I think if he's on his A game, this should be something that Joshua Buatsi should be doing, and we shouldn't be celebrating like, oh, you beat Craig Richards, because I still look at like, no, seriously, I still look at like Yard.
Yo, this Craig Richards disrespect. What? So wait. Out of the UK light heavyweights here, out of the top ones, do you not think that Craig Richards is better than and shout out these guys? I'm not even like putting them down, but for me, currently, Craig Richards is the #1 UK light heavyweight. Callum Smith ain't better than him. Callum Johnson ain't better than him. Yard ain't better than him.
Based
on the recent bet. That's based on the
because he went round.
But it's based on the recent resume of him then being Shaq and Peters before that and how he performed against Bivol. It wasn't the fact that, oh, we're not giving him credit just for surviving against Bivol. We're giving him credit because even though it was late into the fight, you showed sparks in that Bivol fight that, do you know what? You've actually got the skills to pay the bills and you got the fight IQ. It was just a case of he needed to jump that mental block. But then there's no other UK light heavyweight right now on the world scene currently within the last 2 years that has shown as much promise as Craig Richards has. That's my thing.
I hear that, but do you think in terms of that fight, do you think Bivol was hungry enough? Was this a fight that you wake up in the morning and say, okay, cool, yeah, I'm going to step out and do what I need to do? You're just going to take it lightly? Because if you put Craig Richards in with Yard, I think Yard on his good day will beat Craig Richards. That's what I think. This is crazy. You don't think?
No? Absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely not. And I like Yard.
I think Yard will take him. Like I've always wanted to see Yard versus Buatsi. I've always wanted to see that. So I just think Craig Richards right by now it's a stepping stone. It's something you.
Yo.
Nah. Whoa.
Wait, we can't hear you right now, Sam. See, even StreamYard was like, you're moving mad. Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
I'm just saying, for me, if you're looking at Buatsi, who he's meant to be, this is a stepping stone. It's not something that you're meant to celebrate. Cool, Battle of South London, keep it moving. That's how I see it. Because yes, Richards has proven certain stuff, but I just think that okay, we're taking that too much into context and saying, oh, that makes him X, Y, Z. That's my opinion. Everyone can disagree, but we'll see on Saturday. Do you know what I mean? We'll see on Saturday, and then we'll keep it moving.
Okay, so Ray,
that's fair.
On this, how does Craig Richards hurt Buatsi? Because talking to Sam's point, it looks like it's a foregone conclusion where it's like Buatsi turns up, Buatsi does his thing, that's it. And as much as Craig Richards wants to be on his A side, he wants to be up there. He can't really hurt him if Buatsi's on form. So how does he go ahead and hurt him?
I think distance control that Craig Richards has shown. You saw when he fought Shaq and Pierce, he was a way bigger guy. His jab was elite. His timing was beautiful. And he's a very clinical guy. And I think just the boxing IQ that he's shown to adjust to certain fights, for me, what I've seen is very good. And with Buatsi, I feel like sometimes he does take his foot off the pedal a bit in mid-round. So he might like stack up some rounds and then take his foot off the pedal. And I thought with Craig Richards showing, you know, in the later rounds that he can still keep up that same energy, that's a very dangerous thing to do. And like Ashanti said before, Nige said before, JB does have a tendency to get clipped. this is not the fight you want to have that tendency to get clipped. That, don't get me wrong, I think Buatsi, like I said before about Buatsi, very spiteful finisher. I think the good thing with Buatsi is that, listen, if he sees you hurt, he's like a shark. He's going to go in there and finish. So Craig Richards has to be on his P's and Q's, word to Kano. But the only thing is, can you get Craig Richards into that position to do that? And I feel for me, I know that he went to Virgil Hunter in the States to like work on his defense. But then it's kind of like, is Virgil also the right guy to balance out Buatsi's offense at the same time? You don't want to go to you always want to make sure you go to the right trainer to get the best out of you. And yes, it's good to work on your defense, but if you try to nullify what he naturally is, you're then going to get a confused fighter. And I think with Virgil in his corner, we still need to see what happens to Buatsi when he's in, like, you know, hard situations. Will you revert back to type and go out on the all attack, or will you still keep composure and stay in defense? Because we saw the same thing when Khan went to Virgil Hunter, and we got a confused Khan, to be honest. And you saw a guy who, yes, he helped him with his defense, but Khan was always who he's meant to be. He was going to go out on the attack. So I think that's my thing is, with the work with Virgil Hunter, what type of Buatsi we're going to see? Is this the right partnership, or is it a case of this is a guy who you're meant to go with to work on your defense, but then find another trainer to bring all the skills together? But I think that's the beauty of this fight. We're going to find it out. And I think this is, as much as this is a Craig Richards coming out par if he gets the win, I think this is a big test for the partnership of Buatsi and Hunter to see, is this the guy to take Buatsi to that world level where we feel like his skills can take him to? And I think that's the beauty of it.
Ibrahim, coming to you next, do you echo the same sentiment as Ray when it comes to the partnership of Virgil Hunter and Buatsi? And again, for you as well, where do you see Richards being able to do any damage to Buatsi in this particular fight? Or even the other way around, how can Buatsi assert his dominance on Richards in this particular fight, considering he's the favorite? He's got to be that guy. You said yourself, he's got the most special. He's got to be that guy to show that I can dominate a fight and dominate a genuinely good British light heavyweight fight as well.
Okay, just to touch upon Virgil Hunter, for me,
you want to say
it's tough. It's tough because I can see that where everybody's coming from with regards to Virgil Hunter and his, you know, his in the ring or in the fight moments when he was talking in the corner. People say he's very basic, etc. And for me, I'm still undecided whether that partnership is a good one, because how I see it is this: is Josh Buatsi looking poor whilst being with Virgil Hunter? No. Is he looking spectacular? No. But I need to see a lot. I need to see a lot more, and to see maybe the fruits of the labor. Maybe it'll be a steady decline. Maybe he'll just go through the roof in this fight. If for me, in this fight, it will be clear as day whether Virgil Hunter will be the right person for Joshua Buatsi. If Joshua Buatsi is freestyling, because you can tell when the fight is freestyling in the fight. If he's freestyling in the fight,
hey yo,
you gotta go. If literally, if Craig Richards is backing him up on the ropes and he just throws a Deontay Wilder looping windmill shot and then just starts capitalizing and goes, and finishes him off, I can't credit that win to Virgil Hunter. And therefore, in my opinion, and if he's getting beaten up by that stage, I think by that stage he's got to go. Now, keys to win for both fighters. For me, for Craig Richards, he needs to, I know it sounds very simple, but he needs to be calm, relaxed, breathe. It sounds so simple, but in times of this fight,
the moment can get to you.
The moment can get to you. Once you may start trading with you on the inside, and your head might be like, "Bro, I could do this as well." Nah, F all of that. Yeah, this is what you got to do. If Buatsi tries to do all of this, double jab, right hand, pivot out, keep it simple. But Buatsi is trying to enter him, at close range, jab him, double jab, literally play it safe, point score, and just win, can get the round under your belt. Now, he could win. Buatsi later on in that fight, of course, will get a bit desperate. Maybe you can throw a 1-2, like, whilst Buatsi, his defenses will be a little bit open during the later stages of the fight, and you may be eligible for a late stoppage. But if that is not overtly open, don't go for it. Buatsi's he's always going to have his guard extremely high, but don't get greedy with your shots and start doing too many hooks, because Buatsi is going to catch you on the counter attack, and when he sees you hurt a little bit, he'll pounce at it. For me, Craig if Craig composes himself, stick to a certain game plan, relaxes in the fight, I think that he can potentially go all the way and maybe drag it to points. However, with Joshua Buatsi, for him to win, he basically he's just got to throw poo at the wall in the hope that something sticks. Effectively, he has to just literally throw as much shots as possible.
Yo, Sam is not pleased.
When something hits, pounce on it. Yeah, there is not going to be a technical way in which Buatsi could win.
What are you saying? So you're thinking that Buatsi basically has to brawl him because Craig's the better boxer?
Effectively, but not brawl him from the inside, but just experiment with as many variations of shots as you possibly can. Right, and just do whatever you can. If that makes sense. Let me just stop
you on that. Look at the reaction from our editor right there. He's just laughing away at that. But now I hear what you mean.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
No, I need Sam's reaction because he looks disapproved of this.
The disrespect for JB, yeah. Like for me, the way I see JB win, yeah, is using your boxing brain. Keep it at range, jab, 1-2, do what you do, a few body shots here and there, move. Because we know when you're out boxing someone, now the opponent's gonna get frustrated and they're gonna start doing sloppy stuff. Then you can catch them with shots. And I think that's what he will need to do. Because you got Virgil Hunter, we already know the remit is basically what he did with, or how Andre he helped. Ward. You know what he did, but yeah, how he helped Andre Ward in it. And we saw him, the long hand out, spinning around, catching you, and just making you just annoyed, like he did to Froch. And then Froch was like, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna start chasing, swinging. Now I'm making you look stupid, catching you with easy shots. So I think with Joshua Buatsi, use your boxing skills, your boxing brain, box and move, pot shot, do what you need to do, keep it like that. Craig Richards now, I think with Craig Richards, he's gonna turn it into a brawl and test JB's ego in terms of, okay, cool. Seriously, that's what, because I've seen certain fights with JB and I'm thinking, why are you getting into a brawl with this brother? You're better than him. But then you get caught with stupid shots. And I think that's the tactic that if I was Richards, I would kind of use. Say, look, JB, I know you got ego. You want to show you could take shots and then throw them back. Yeah. Sometimes you're going to get caught and get rocked by a shot that, bro, it's night-night. As Steph has been doing in the playoffs. It's time to go to bed, isn't it? So that's what I see happening. I think that's the way both boxers are going to have to fight. JB.
You think Craig Richards you think JB's a better pure boxer than Craig Richards?
Look, I'm a big fan of JB, so I'm always gonna rock with JB in it. So,
no, I respect it.
Look, Craig Richards, I've seen him. He's improved. He's done a lot of improvement, and he can box. But for me, I would say JB, and I just think he has to just do what he needs to do, what he's good at, use his fundamentals, and he should win the fight. If you try and make it into a brawl and it's all about ego and you want to do all this, then it's not going to help you because again, you can get boxing, you get caught with one lucky punch, you're out, you're a meme. And it's over for you, innit? So you got to use your head here, man.
Let's go prediction time, guys. We've been on it. We've had a conversation about everything. We brought the fight now. Talked about the A side versus B side. We've talked about the face off, the coaches, how they can win. I'm gonna go to my guest here on my bottom left, Ibrahim. First up to you. Where are we going for this? Who have we got winning? What round or what particular method?
For me, I have Craig Richards winning this fight. Okay, I think Buatsi's neck is too stiff. He's not going to get away from those shots. Yeah, those shots are going to be flying in. Yeah, but it trust me, stiff. Yeah, and let me tell you something. Craig Richards is not going to be jumping in the ring and losing his head and losing his cool. Yeah, he's not that type of fighter. If anything, He's the fighter. You saw it in the Bivol fight. He will opt to play it safe. But Buatsi, on the other hand, would do all of those try it inside fighting, those risk-taking shots. He was trying. If he was a footballer, he was trying to shoot from outside of the box. He'd be one of those type of guys. But I think that Craig will start a little bit quick, win the first early couple of rounds, use his jab effectively, stay out of crazy encounters and risk-taking moments. But then I think middle of the round, Joshua Buatsi stamina, it'll drop a bit, Craig will carry on jab with him, right hand, hurt him a little bit, but Buatsi will carry on. Later on, Buatsi will try to do an almighty comeback and try to just go Hail Mary attempt. Craig, compose, breathe, in and out, jab, move, hold, Tyson Fury-esque, drag it to points. Craig Richards, points win. Now, I'm not going to say split majority because I ain't going to lie, we have some crackhead judges here in this country. So there could be...
Boxing in general, let's
in boxing. So I'm going to say points win. It could be a late stoppage for Craig Richards, but I'm going to say points win. I can't see Buatsi getting stopped unless it's on his feet and it's just getting like molded punches and stops it. So I'm saying points win by Craig Richards.
Do you know what I appreciate? The fact that this was broken down how this is going to happen. So
come on.
Right now we're 2-1. I mean, I'm going to go to you, Sam, in this sense anyway. Well, I know where you're going. Anyway. But this fight, break it down for me. Who's winning this and what round or how are they winning it?
Keep it short and sweet. JB stoppage round 10. Simple. That's what I'm saying. That's it. Look, JB's my guy. Nike ambassador. Let's do it.
I got love for him. He's GH man in the building. Always got love for him.
Do you know what I mean? So that's I'm just keeping it short and sweet. JB round 10, I think will stop him. Should be an entertaining fight. Big up to both of them and them. Saluting, supporting, putting South London on the map. You know what I mean? So I respect it.
La.
Come on.
And
you know me, man. A Sugar Ray special. I'm on the fence. Listen.
Nah, no offense.
I am on the fence. I am a spinning ballerina with perfect balance on the fence. I am there.
On the scales, you need to
listen. I am like a Shaolin monk. Man said jollof first, rice and peas. Hey, don't do this to me because I like both. Shout out GH, but
nah, man.
Do you know what it is? I think it. Whoa, watch it.
This is gonna make your decision. I'm giving you £1,000. Put your money there. Where are you going?
I'm gonna put 500 split on each person to win.
Nah.
No. Okay, let me say this. Yeah. If I was to lean towards any side, GH community, forgive me. 51% Craig Richards.
Come on.
51, but it's only by the 1%. But I also know that JB has the heart of a lion and he's got that finish in him that sometimes is not always the best boxer that wins. Sometimes it's going to be the person that imposes their will and makes it their fight. And I feel like, man said, who does Eddie need to win? Oof, well, let's not beat around the bush. Eddie would want JB to win. Let's not move silly. This is a big risk for Eddie Hearn. He would want JB to win. The Olympian, the guy that they put all this investment in. He's meant to be Anthony Joshua's heir. Let's be real. He is meant to be Anthony Joshua's heir, and it's been slow. Like I said, where Lawrence Okoli is where they would want Buatsi. And the only issue with Okoli is that his division is not sexy, or Okoli would be a bigger star, potentially.
True.
Even though his last fight weren't. But sometimes you get ugly fights. But the point being is, both of them fought at the same Olympics, am I correct? 2016, Rio.
Yes.
And look where Okoli is.
Was the champion.
And Okoli, it's not even like Okoli got pushed and was rushed into it. They took his time. When he was ready, they put him in the right place. with Buatsi, obviously, I think they wanted him to have the same type of road to the title, and you know, injuries and such happen. Life happens. The life of a boxer is never always perfect for things to be fit. And I feel like with JB, this is meant to be the year that Ashanti mentioned about all the high rankings that JB's got right now. If JB gets this win, they will probably try to set up JB versus Bivol. That's the truth. And that's going to be interesting because I've heard that JB's been in Bivol's training camp before. So in terms of who Eddie wants to win, let's be real. He wants JB to win. I'm going 51% Craig Richards, but I wouldn't be surprised if JB also gets the victory. I still feel like Virgil Hunter might not be the right guy for him. I think Virgil Hunter is good for him to like spend some time there to up his defense. But in terms of getting the most out of him, I don't know if Virgil Hunter's is going to get to squeeze all the juice out of JB that he needs. Yeah. But it'll be an interesting fight regardless, and being in the crowd for that one is going to be emotional seeing either fighter lose because, like I said, JB, my GH brethren, always going to have love for him, always got support. He always carries himself well. And Craig Richards, that's that the underdog that he doesn't get enough respect, but he's got he's a brilliant fighter. So it's going to be a cracking fight either way.
You know what, guys? That's going to be a cracking fight. This has been a cracking debut episode.
Oh, you're not getting away with not giving your prediction. Oh, you ain't going to put the pressure on me. Yeah. You ain't going to put the pressure on me and do that. Yeah. That's what we're not going to do.
Does Johnny Nelson give his prediction, or does he just sit there and... Wow.
No, he gives his prediction. He gives his prediction.
He does. It's only when it's a Sheffield man and someone else that he's cool with, I'm sitting on the fence.
Do you know what? If I'm going to give the prediction, I'm going to give the boring one. And that is, I'm going to lean towards Buatsi because I feel like he's the younger guy. I feel like he's not, I'm not going to say hungrier because then I'm measuring a boxer's hungriness. And I feel like every boxer really is hungry unless you can really see a payday. But I feel like he knows he's got more on the line right now than probably Craig Richards does. And therefore, I feel like he's going to need this victory a bit more. Whereas this is going to sound bad. And you'll see what I mean by this. I feel like even after this loss, Craig Richards could become the British light heavyweight version of what Keith Thurman is currently. As in,
yo, relax. No, wait. Don't do that to Craig Richards. Don't do that to Craig Richards.
I'm not disrespecting because what I'm saying is he's still going to be a live fighter. But if you need a resume fighter, if you're coming up or whatever the needs is, you know that you've got a good fighter in Craig Richards.
We're not good. Nah, you're calling my man a glorified gatekeeper. No.
He's not the gatekeeper yet, but he's that stage where you try and put him in a fight where, let's see if they can beat him. If not, it's Craig Richards. If they do beat him, Craig Richards on the resume.
It's a good person to have in your resume. Just like how you said about Keith Thurman. To get on your resume, it's good.
We're not going to do that to Craig Richards. I hear what you're saying. But not just yet. Craig, do you know what it is? I think even with a loss, I still feel like Craig Richards can bounce back. And then if this is a tight fight and Buatsi does actually go on to face Bivol, and in the case that Buatsi was to get that belt, I think he comes back to the UK and you still got, like I said, the UK light heavyweights, if anybody gets a belt, it is going to be the best time to be a UK light heavyweight because I feel like the domestic dust-ups that can happen will be brilliant. So,
you hit my point exactly. So it's just the same way we talked about Thurman and the fact that if Crawford came PBC, the tune-up fight is Thurman. So you get
one day you're gonna come down to London and you're gonna have to pay for these sins because this is egregious.
All I'm saying is Craig Richards is an excellent name to still have, and he's still a live dog. That's but
fair enough.
I am still going to lean with the guy that I think has more pressure, who needs the victory more, and for this particular reason, I'd have to go with Buatsi. And also on the flip side, if Richards wins this, it elevates him back into title contention, whereas then Buatsi is going to make his way through. And I personally don't think he becomes that name where you could just mark it and you put Buatsi on a DAZN card and you want to pay that money just to watch Buatsi on his own. That's why I feel like for this particular thing, I'm leaning on Buatsi for that. Ibrahim, do you have a
Fair enough.
Yeah, it depends on how the fight goes for any of those fighters. Because if you think about it, Craig Richards lost to Bivol in a very tight decision that people thought that he could have won had he showed a lot more activity earlier on, or had we run a little bit more round through activity. Contrast that to Lyndon Arthur versus Yard 2. Nobody's talking about Lyndon Arthur. Yeah, there's
Damn
reasons
it,
for
man.
that. It's about performances on the night. If whoever puts in a stinker, you're put it this way, you are not going to be in that conversation of top light heavyweights. People would start putting in Callum Smith, etc., over a Craig Richards or a Josh Buatsi if they get knocked out inside 3 rounds.
We're going to have a conversation one day about how Callum Smith has somehow hyped himself up big in the light heavyweight scene without beating no light heavyweight hitters, but we'll leave that for another time.
That's exactly it. But with that, like I said, I think it's been an elite episode.
Thank you guys. Love
for all you guys coming up. But as always, before you go, shout your socials out. Where can people find you? Where can people find your content? And also, where can they have conversation with you as well? Ibrahim, go first.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, you can find me on YouTube, Off the Canvas Boxing. Just type it on YouTube, you'll definitely find me. And on Instagram is same thing, Off the Canvas Boxing. Twitter is OTC Official 1. But if you find my YouTube, all of the links are on my YouTube. So yeah, head over to my YouTube channel.
We're gonna put all of it in as well. So like, if you're trying to find it, you struggle. It's only in the descriptions as well. But yeah,
much love, guys.
Sam,
appreciate you guys. The YouTube is Undiluted Media. The Insta is Undiluted Media _ and Twitter is Undiluted Media 1. So yeah, follow us on all the socials, people, man.
Love. Follow that, people. Like, share, subscribe.
Yep. You're doing my job for me, and
apologies. I was feeling the shouts. I felt like a rapper with the ad libs. So go on that verse.
No, but with that, you have been watching Content Skills. As Ray says, if you like the content, like, share, and subscribe. The YouTube channel is the same as all the socials. Stay within. But yeah, that's the debut episode of the On the Skills on the Weighed In podcast. And love and peace, guys.